back to Royalty Soaps. This video is being released on April 1st, which means it is the April soap release. So very quickly, I'm just going to highlight the soaps that will be available this month for those of y'all who would like to get your paws on them. There are 5 high tops and 5 low tops. So the 5 high tops are Navy Rose Gold, the Bonnie Highlands, Sea Glass, Lapis Lazuli, and Pink Berry Rose. And the low tops are Baby Bee Bastille, Hagwa Blue, Citrus Calendula, Sage and Cedar, and Mosaic Terracotta, which of course is the soap we're making today. I saved this for last because honestly, this is my favorite soap of the month, and let me just tell you why. First of all, the design is really unique, and anytime I get to stamp something, I am always partial towards it. But also, I came up with this design, I am not joking, I am not making this up, in a dream I had. I was literally making soap in a dream, and I made it based on a candle that I saw in Bath & Body Works. I actually have the candle now. I'll leave you guys a little picture up there so that you can see what the candle looks like. And so I was making a soap based on that. And so essentially I'm just recreating the design I dreamed about. I know that is so weird, but surely I am not the only artist out there who has like dreams of them making art and then they wake up and are like, that is a really good idea. This soap is also very special because it has purposeful glycerin rivers. Most of the time, in fact, like all of the time, I never make soap that have glycerin rivers in them. I purposefully avoid them and take them out of my creations just because I like the smooth bar. But because I was going for sort of a cracked porcelain look, the way that you might see on a vase done in this style, or just sort of a cracked glass, this is a really obvious way to create that look. So without further ado, let's make some soap. In this video, I'm gonna do my very best to not lean in like this so that all of you guys can see my little pregnant self. But it's getting harder and harder to hide the fact that I have a belly that wants to hang over the side of the table. So the first thing that we're going to do is just blend my regular amount of lye water solution into my oils. Now, I typically do 33 to 35% water, or 1.85 parts of water to 1 part lye, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. It's 1.85 parts water to 1 part lye. That's what this particular mix is. And then I am gonna add a little bit more water into the white part, and that is gonna force the glycerin rivers. But we don't have to do that until later on, after we blend this up until just past emulsion. Emulsion has been reached, so we're now going to pour off into these 2 buckets the entire batch, so it's going to be even. Now that we have our 2 equal buckets, we'll place one off to the side and work on the bottom layer. For the bottom layer, I have created my own little blend that, in my opinion, creates the perfect terracotta color. It's Aztec Gold, Orange Vibrance Mica, and Orange Oxide. I will leave you guys links to everything I'm using today down in the description box below. I always do that for all my soap making videos, but I know some people are probably new around here. They don't know that, but everything that I'm using, unless it's like a proprietary blend of something, I leave for you guys so you can go check it out. I have mixed this with some of my soap making oils before I mix my lye water solution into them. And using the teeniest, tiniest spatula on the planet, I am gonna scrape this cup so we get every single little bit out. My gosh, where has this been my whole life? Ooh. I'm gonna blend it like this first, just because it's pretty. I'll take my bigger spatula to do this part, actually. I think it'll go a little bit quicker that way. Terracotta is such an interesting color because it's like a nice blend of a very dark orange, a little bit of red, but it's also still kind of vibrant, like it's a potent color. And before we add the fragrance oil, I am also gonna add some apricot seed powder. This is gonna give it a little bit of grit, a little bit of texture. It will be nice and exfoliating exfoliating on the skin without being too gruff. So let's blend this up on low just to make sure everybody's incorporated. Then we'll add the fragrance oil. The fragrance oil we're using today is NG's Sun and Sand type. I'm not sure what this is a duplication of, but I know it's a duplication of something. It smells so good. If you like my Mermaid Treasure scent, you will like this one. It's a little bit gentler, not as potent, and it has a little more fruitiness to it. With the fragrance oil blended in, it is now time to pour into our large slab mold after this quick commercial break. Camera, you better focus or I will have to disown you and your family and throw you out into the street. Pretty sure it's focused now. So I'm sorry if y'all thought I was a little hard on the camera there, but he has caused so much trouble recently. So I'm just gonna pour this very slowly so as not to cause a bunch of air bubbles in the soap straight into this slab mold. Now all of Kenny's molds that he made for me are actually being used right now. They have soap in them. So I'm having to use this one that I ordered from a website online. I will admit, and I think I've said it before, I don't really like these molds. It's not that they're not like super high quality plastic or anything. They're just really tedious to take apart. They came with some plastic liners that stuck to soap really bad, so it wasn't even something that was gonna end up saving me time because I still have to line everything with paper. And that's why I had Kenny make me my own, because having all of these screws on the side and bars, and again, I know it's enforced stabilization and whatever, but I don't like it. It takes too long to unmold, and they were really expensive. I think they were like, I don't know, like $175 a piece, not including shipping. Also, it's almost impossible to tape down the edges, so I have these little flappy things that never stick to the sides, and that really bothers me. Anyway, moving right along, we're gonna set this off to the side and mix up the top layer. I've gone ahead and separated out what is going to be the white and what will be the blue. The blue I am using is Ultramarine Blue from TKB, and it is blended with warm water that typically gets all the little speckles dissolved. If you have water-soluble dyes, I always recommend dissolving them in warm water. And here is the white. Now I know you guys are probably looking at that and going, whoa, yeah, that's because it's 5 ounces of extra liquid that I don't normally add to my soap because I don't normally prefer Glycerin Rivers. And blended in with this water is some titanium dioxide from Wholesale Supplies Plus. I personally believe that they have the best titanium dioxide. And I'm gonna begin by blending with my spatula. Now, Glycerin Rivers and theories of Glycerin Rivers and what causes them and whatever has always been a hot topic in the soap making community throughout the years. And 4 or 5 years ago, a lot of people didn't know what was causing them. Nobody had like a good answer. And if people did know what was causing Glycerin Rivers, they kept that information to themselves. It was kind of one of the secrets of people who were more advanced. And it took me a really long time to figure it out for myself. At that point in time, I felt pressured to keep it to myself from other people who were giving me advice. They were kind of like, oh yeah, once you figure that out, don't share that with anybody. You know, that's what ends up making our soaps look better than theirs and blah, blah, blah. And I wish I had been braver, and I wish I had spoken up and told people, hey, if you put less water in your soap, you will not have as many Glycerin Rivers. But I didn't do that. And instead, I have to give credit to somebody who did, and that is Clara Lindbergh from Auntie Clara's. She published a blog post on it about what causes Glycerin Rivers whenever she figured it out. And I remember there were people that were mad that she published it. That's right, they were actually mad that she had given out the secret to the world of what makes your bars look nice and smooth and keeps the Glycerin Rivers away. And I was so happy that she shared it because it was something that I wished everybody could know. And of course, now we've gotten to the point where I don't feel the need to keep any secrets like that. And a ton of people have benefited from her piece of information that she chose to share, which I think was a very admirable and brave thing to do. I will actually actually link you guys the original blog post article that she wrote. If you're a soap maker, if you've been struggling with Glycerin Rivers, she's gonna teach you how to get rid of them, how to force them, all about them. It's an excellent read and an absolutely must read for new soap makers. Now before I add the fragrance oil in, this is thickening because it's a lot of titanium dioxide. I'm gonna blend it up with the stick blender first. I've gone ahead and added in the fragrance oil, and I'm going to hand blend this in to keep things relatively liquidy. Also, the forcing or not forcing of Glycerin Rivers has been kind of a hot item in Instagram world recently. I don't know what spurred it on. I think it might have been like a challenge or something, I don't know, but a lot of people have been using it to their advantage, which I love seeing because once again, back in the olden days of the soap making community, it was really seen as sort of just an imperfection in a soap, and even though it could really add to your bar and make it look awesome, it was just kind of seen as, yeah, a cosmetic imperfection. Didn't hurt anybody, but it wasn't ideal for the types of designs that were popular at the time. But they making a comeback, which I think is great. We like seeing people change it up. All right, so now that I have my blue, I'm gonna pour it into my white from up relatively high so it gets down to the very bottom. And then I am not gonna scrape out the inside of my bowl. I'm gonna leave it just like this and put it on the top for swirling. This is honestly quite heavy at this point, and I'm having to be very careful when I pour it. I'm holding it underneath my arm like a baby. I'm not even joking. I've scrapey'd my container, so I am just going to gently bounce the top per usual. Make sure that every bar is gonna have the same amount of soap batter. Marvelous. And now, using the blue container that I didn't scrape out, I'm just gonna ladle some on top. And we're not gonna add any glitter onto the top of this soap. To me, it just doesn't need it. It is not a glitter soap. This is sort of a more, you know, earthenware and natural beauty sort of soap. I know a lot of you guys watch these videos where I talk about the soap making community of old and go, yikes, it sounds like sort of a terrible place to be. And it wasn't completely. I think it was a lot more petty and a lot more exclusive than it is now because so many people have started soap making in the last 2 or 3 years, and I think people have just generally become so much more open and so much more giving. But don't get me wrong, there were people back then too that were honest, that were caring, that really wanted to help others. You just had to sit with the right kids at the right table, you know what I mean? I've got Kenny's handy dandy chopstick, and I'm gonna use that for swirling the top. Just kind of go all around, make sure everybody gets a little bit of something something. The only thing left to do is to wipe down the edges of the mold, which is not mandatory, but it is for me because I can't stand looking at it. And then to spritz the top of it. I do know that this is not going to ash because we've already made some, but one of the reasons it doesn't ash is because we go by and spritz it maybe 5 times in an hour for the first hour. And that's it. The Mosaic Terracotta soap is done. Well, we got a few Glycerin Rivers in there. I didn't want to add any more water than I already had though, because I didn't want my soap to be super soft. If you really want a lot of them, you have to add a lot of water. So let's just press down. And this is what it looks like on the inside. So you see we got that speckledy sort of terracotta looking bottom, and then the blue and white swirl, and right on the edge there, you got the little crackly bits of Glycerin Rivers. So I'm really digging this blue swirl. Every single one of them is really, really unique. But this soap would not be complete without the custom stamp. I designed this stamp myself and sent the design to my stamp maker on Etsy. He is really, really quick. I've been working with him for years. I love him. His prices are unbeatable and the quality is always fantastic. So I'm gonna line this up in the middle of this soap bar here, and I'm gonna tap it with my mallet. Pull the stamp up gently. And there you go. In my opinion, this is what really completes the design, and I'm gonna hold it here to the side so you can see what I was inspired by and what I was working towards. So while I'm stamping a few more of these, of course all of these will end up being stamped, Caleb is gonna ask the question of the day.
Would you rather have hands or feet that grow larger continually as you grow older?
My feet are already size 10 women's, so I'll go ahead and take the fingers, I think. Caleb, I do not like that question of the day. But if you would like to vote in the question of the day, you can click the I in the upper right hand corner of the screen. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to like it, subscribe to the channel if you would like, and also if you would like, you can leave us a comment down below or turn on the notification bell if you are so inclined. This soap will be available to purchase tonight, April 1st, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time at royaltysoaps.com. And for those of y'all who are new around here and are maybe watching this video a few days later, or even heck a few years later, the way that Royalty Soaps works is that we do a once monthly soap release at this point in time. And once all of the soap has sold out, then we do not restock it unless it comes back later on in time as a Royal Vault design. So if you don't see them in my shop, that's why they're not available. Well, I am just so happy for it to be April because, as many of you know, April is when baby is coming. Anytime from now on, baby could be here. And of course, we will let you guys know probably on my personal Instagram. So you can follow me over there if you'd like updates on little tiny baby Carson #2. And if you'd like to see more soap stuff, you can head over to the Royalty Soaps Instagram. Okay, I think that's about it. Be sure you do something fun for yourself today, whether that is experimenting with your craft and trying something new, or taking a long soak in the tub because it's Monday, and Mondays are typically a little rough on people, so be kind to yourself. Either way, do something that makes you happy. I mean it, like something really nice for yourself. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't even have to cost anything at all. Sometimes just taking a moment for yourself and slipping away so that you can listen to your favorite song in your earbuds and not have anyone talking to you is like a really wonderful thing to do, and that can like completely turn your mood around. And until Wednesday, I hope you all have a marvelous day, and bye for now.